What are soul groups in relation to your unborn children, and how does that work? Or how does like the soul of your child work in terms of conscious conception, before birth, pregnancy, and then like knowing the whole way through? So in my personal opinion, it's quite a complicated one, this one, but see if you can follow along with me. So we have soul groups, we have soul connections, soul mates, if you will, people that we've been connected to as lovers, as mothers, brothers, sisters, children, you know, the whole shebang. We have individual souls that we have spent many lifetimes connecting with together. And in this lifetime, we obviously chose to experience the life together again. Now, if that lifetime looks like you having a child and one of those members of the soul group coming through via pregnancy, obviously there may be multiple members that are coming through via pregnancy, so there may be 1, 2, 3 different souls that are ready to come into your life via pregnancy, via you being their mother. So you may get the message consciously beforehand that you will be soon about to go on pregnancy, like I did, from myself and from other people. So I knew that obviously I was about to go down that journey in the somewhat near future. Now I then got a visit from a soul that same night. I was told by a different psychic, Abbey Wynn in Morocco, that I was going to have a baby. And then I got a visit that night from a soul that was a beautiful female soul in light body form, like a ball of energy light. And she gave me a name and she told me that she'd be coming into my life in the near future. So obviously I took that as the child soul that will be coming in. I did a pregnancy test, I wasn't pregnant yet. Fast forward a month and a half, and then obviously I did a pregnancy test, I had the intuition, so I took the test. And again, I got the confirmation in my mind for what I thought was that soul coming in, the female soul. And I felt the presence when she was in the body, and I felt the presence when she wasn't. It feels like in the early pregnancies, the souls flit in and out of the bodies. And I could tell when the presence was around my auric field, because obviously I was pregnant and conscious, but also because I'm a medium, so I understand and I've trained in how to differentiate between energies and frequencies and spirits. So, yeah. Then obviously, additionally to that, I have the awareness of the communication with these spirits. So I was communicating with this spirit the whole time. Then at about 11 weeks, I felt something change, and I had a dream at the same time. A friend of mine had a dream at the same night that it was a little boy. So that was the first time I started to get any mixed messages and started to question the information that had been given. And a couple of weeks after that, I started to think maybe it's best to go check. And bear in mind, this whole process I'd been getting reinforced messages of the girl, of the name that she'd given, constantly seeing that around. So it was constantly confirmed around me. And I will still stand by them messages now. They wasn't misinterpreted. They was bang on accurate for that version of that timeline at that time. But yeah, I felt the shift and I felt the change, and I felt a different soul enter into the frequency, and I felt the unfamiliarity of that soul, and I felt the newness to rebond with that soul, which is now my beautiful little boy. But the funniest thing is, all along I wrote a song in December, January, just before getting pregnant, and when I believed I was pregnant with a little girl, I wrote the song that ended up being, at the end of the song, ends in "Like a phoenix from the ashes, I will rise." So he was always present in the background, that soul, which then led me to go deeper into question, is there one specific soul that's set for one body? And I don't personally think so. I think there's a collection of soul groups that are available to come into your life at different times, and it's decided between them, between your higher self and their higher selves, which soul is the most compatible to come join you in this lifetime. At that time, I do believe them other souls will still come in the future. It just wasn't the right time, vibrational alignment, timeline, frequency, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't in the right alignment. So that can change. Timeline changes can shift. The point I'm trying to make is fetuses don't necessarily have one soul that they've chosen as their soul and body compatible. I think that gets confirmed a little bit later on as you're moving into the second trimester and you really start to bond with the baby, and I think that's when we have that confirmation that soul's chosen to either stay or continue the journey in the human experience. And I think that's why sometimes there's more likely to have miscarriages in the early trimesters, because it's matching up the souls to the bodies. And I do think that soul will just come back in the next body, in my opinion. But I hope this makes sense.